Chapter 23. Political Formations in the 18th Century. Let's learn. Decline of the Mughals, Independent Kingdoms, Maratha Kingdom. Aurangzeb died in 1707. His successors were known as the later Mughals. The Mughal Empire declined during their rule as they were incapable. Bahadur Shah first 1707-12 was the first and last of the later Mughal rulers to exercise real authority. He was learned, dignified, and tried to win over the Rajputs, the Marathas, and the Sikhs. He was succeeded by Jahandar Shah, who was a weak ruler and came to throne only with the help of Zulfikar Khan, the powerful noble who as a reward was made the Wazir Prime Minister. Farrukh Siyar came to power with the help of Sayyid brothers Abdullah Khan and Hussain Ali Khan Barha, the king-makers. By 1719, the two brothers soon acquired dominant control over the affairs of the state. In 1720, they made Muhammad Shah the emperor. Here is a picture of the peacock throne of Shah Jahan. Muhammad Shah wanted to free himself from the hold of Sayyid brothers, and so he stripped them of their power. He had a long reign, 1719 till 48, but made no efforts to strengthen the empire. At the end of his reign, the Mughal Empire stood in name as the powerful governors established independent kingdoms in various reigns. Invasions. With the invasions of Nadir Shah in 1739 and of Ahmad Shah Abdali in 1761, the Mughal Empire was dealt a mortal blow. Nadir Shah took away the famous Kohinoor diamond along with the peacock throne of Shah Jahan. Bahadur Shah Zafar 1837-1857 was the last Mughal emperor. Independent kingdoms. The period from the beginning of the 18th century saw the rise of several regional powers such as Sikhs, Rajputs, Marathas, Nawabs of Awadh and Bengal, Nizam of Hyderabad, etc. Some of these kingdoms were former Mughal provinces carved out by governors and wazirs serving the Mughal rulers. These political formations weakened the Mughal rule considerably and tried to expand their area of influence. Of these emergent independent kingdoms, Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad were the most prominent. Awadh. Sadat Khan, the governor of Awadh Suba, was appointed by Muhammad Shah in 1722. He established Awadh as an independent kingdom in 1722. Sadat Khan and his successors ruled Awadh as independent rulers for all practical purposes. Sadat Khan and his successors ruled Awadh as independent rulers for all practical purposes. The zamindars of Awadh often refused to pay taxes on time. Sadat Khan suppressed the rebellious zamindars and reformed the revenue system. He did not discriminate among various religions, maintained order and discipline in the kingdom, and increased the finances of the state. He even held the combined office of Subedar, political head, Faujdar, military head, and the Diwan, head of revenue. Sadat Khan was succeeded in 1739 by Safdarjung. Under him, Awadh had a long period of peace and prosperity, and it resulted in the growth of a distinct culture centered at Lucknow. Lucknow, now as their capital, became a major center of art and culture. Brain tickler. What black hole tragedy is associated with Siraj-ud-Dawla? Bengal. The Nawabs of Bengal were efficient rulers. They rose to eminence when the Mughal Empire declined. Under Murshid Quli Khan, Bengal went through a period of peace and prosperity with the help of an organized administration. He made Murshidabad his capital. He was succeeded by Shujauddin from 1727 till 1739. After him, Ali Vardi Khan and then Siraj-ud-Dawla became the rulers of Bengal. Trade, commerce and agriculture were encouraged along with people's security by constructing police stations or thanas at regular intervals. A strict control was maintained over the foreign trading companies. In the 18th century, Bengal became one of the most prosperous regions of India. However, the Nawabs did not realize the importance of a strong army. They did not build forts and strengthen the army. The Nawabs did not realize that East India Company was not just a trading company. And in the Battle of Plassey in 1756-57, they were suppressed and defeated by the British. This laid the foundation of British rule in India. Info Hive. For a time during the rule of Savai Ram Singh, the whole city of Jaipur was painted pink to welcome Edward, Prince of Wales. Today, avenues remain painted in pink, giving Jaipur a distinctive appearance. Hyderabad. Chin Kilich Khan was a powerful noble in the court of Farrukh Siyar and Muhammad Shah. He was accorded the title Nizam-ul-Mulk Asaf Jah and given the responsibility of governing the Deccan provinces. He built the state of Hyderabad and ruled as an independent ruler. He appointed mansabdars and granted them jagirs, overruling the authority of the Mughal kings, who were powerless and agreed to his decisions. Nizam-ul-Mulk's successors came to be known as Nizams. The Rajputs. Rajputs had been the allies of the Mughals since Akbar's reign. As the early Mughal rulers respected their sovereign status and appointed them to high positions in the Mughal court, they often cooperated with them. However, Aurangzeb severed all relations with them, so they turned against the Mughals. By the early 18th century, most of the Rajput states had become independent. Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber was an exceptional ruler of the 18th century. He founded the city of Jaipur and made it his capital. He promoted various social reforms and took keen interest in scientific learning. He also built astronomical observatories in Delhi, Mathura, Ujjain, Jaipur and Banaras. Punjab under Sikhs. Sikhism started as a spiritual movement. Under Guru Nanak, however, it became a strong political and military force called Khalsa, pure under Guru Gobind Singh. He inspired his soldiers to fight the Mughals through the slogan, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It means that the Khalsa belongs to God and all victories of the Khalsa are victories of God. Info Hive. Kachha, Kada, Kirpan, Kangha and Kesh. A person who wears all these 5 symbols should be considered a Sikh. After Guru Gobind Singh, Banda Bahadur rose as the leader of the Sikhs. He carried out the fight against the Mughals. Eventually, Sikhs brought Punjab and Jammu under their control. They organized themselves into 12 misls or confederacies. These misls were equal in status and cooperated with each other. But with time, they also started to fight among themselves. Towards the end of the 18th century, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the leader of the Sukar Chakia Misl, united all the misls and established a powerful kingdom in Punjab, Mysore. Mysore rose to prominence with Hyder Ali, who started his life as an ordinary soldier. Hyder Ali 1761-82 and his son Tipu Sultan 1782 till 99 made Mysore very powerful. Brain tickler. How do you relate Tipu Sultan and Napoleon? Both Hyder Ali and Tipu modernized the army and introduced new and efficient weapons. With the help of the French, Hyder Ali established a modern arsenal at Dindigul. Tipu Sultan even made efforts to build a modern navy. Tipu was known as the Tiger of Mysore. Hyder Ali defeated the British in the First Anglo-Mysore War in 1769. He died in the Second Anglo-Mysore War in 1782. Tipu Sultan's innovations in weapons were quite amazing for his enemies. He had to fight continuously with the British. Finally, he died in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War at Seringapatanam in 1799. The Marathas. The Marathas were minor chieftains serving in the kingdoms of Ahmednagar, Bijapur and Golconda. When these kingdoms became weak, the Marathas came to power in Konkan region under the leadership of Shivaji. Shivaji Bhosle. Shivaji Bhosle was born in 1627 CE at Shivneri, a hill fort near Pune. His father Shahaji Raje Bhosle was employed as an officer in the army of the Sultan of Bijapur. Shivaji was brought up under the care of his mother Jijabai and guardian Dadaji Kondadev. Early successes. Chhatrapati Shivaji began his early career of conquests at the age of 19 with the dream of establishing a large empire. Using guerrilla warfare, irregular warfare in which a small group of armed civilians use military tactics including ambushes, sabotage, raids, etc. To fight a large military tactics with his young army, he captured many forts near Pune. War with Bijapur. The king of Bijapur was worried by the growing power of Shivaji. Therefore he sent an army under the guidance of Afzal Khan to defeat him. But Shivaji came out victorious by killing Afzal Khan and defeating the Bijapur army. War with Mughals. Chhatrapati Shivaji began raiding Mughal territories in 1657. Aurangzeb sent a big army under Shaista Khan to capture him. Shaista Khan occupied Pune and camped there. One night, Shivaji made a surprise attack on Pune, but Shaista Khan had a narrow escape. After this incident in 1664, Shivaji ransacked Surat and carried off a huge booty. Aurangzeb then sent Raja Jai Singh of Amber to the Deccan. Jai Singh captured a number of forts held by Shivaji and besieged the fort of Purandar. This compelled Shivaji to conclude the Treaty of Purandar in 1665. By the terms of the treaty, Shivaji had to acknowledge the supremacy of Aurangzeb and assist him in the fight against Bijapur. Surrendered 23 forts to Aurangzeb to pay a visit to Aurangzeb in the imperial court at Agra. Aurangzeb did not treat Shivaji well when the latter visited the Mughal court at Agra and kept Shivaji and his son Sambhaji under house arrest. But Shivaji managed to escape from Agra with his son by hiding in the baskets of sweets and fruits. In 1670, Shivaji renewed his war against the Mughals with greater vigor and reclaimed many forts that he had ceded to the Mughals. At last Aurangzeb was obliged to recognize him as a Raja, king. In 1674, Shivaji declared himself an independent ruler of Maharashtra and assumed the title of Chhatrapati. Last years. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj died on April 3, 1680. But the Marathas continued their struggle against the Mughals under his successors. Shivaji's administration. Shivaji was not only a courageous soldier and brilliant military strategist, but also an able and successful administrator. His administrative system was largely borrowed from the administrative practices of the Deccan states. Info Hive. Shivaji divided his entire kingdom into 4 provinces, each under the charge of a viceroy. He had a council of 8 ministers called the Ashtapradhan to advise him. These were Peshwa, head of the council and in charge of general administration; Senapati, commander-in-chief of the army; Nyayadhish, in charge of justice; Amatya or Majumdar, in charge of finance; Pant Sachiv, general secretary; Sumant, in charge of foreign affairs; Mantri, head of intelligence; Dandhaksha, in charge of religious matters. Sources of revenue. Shivaji laid down an excellent revenue system. Land revenue was the main source of income. Shivaji collected 2/5 of the produce as land tax from the territories directly under him. From areas not directly under his control, he collected the following 2 taxes. The inhabitants paid the chauth, or 1/4 of the standard revenue of their king, as protection money against the plundering raids of Shivaji. The territories which paid chauth were also required to pay an additional tax called Sardeshmukhi. This was 1/10 of the revenue of those areas. Those who paid Sardeshmukhi received Maratha protection against other invaders. It was tributary tax. Military administration. Shivaji created and maintained an organized and disciplined army consisting of infantry, cavalry and navy. He recruited only able persons and managed a huge army. His army, mostly composed of light infantry and light cavalry, was well adapted to guerrilla warfare in the hilly terrain of the Western Ghats. The army movements were extremely quick. There were about 280 forts in his possession. Every fort was kept under 3 officers of equal status. Shivaji recognized the necessity of a strong navy. He built ships in towns such as Kalyan, Bhiwandi and Goa. The fleet grew to reportedly 160 to 700 merchants, support and fighting vessels. Shivaji's admiral Kanoji Angra is often said to be the father of Indian Navy. Successors of Shivaji. Shivaji was succeeded by his son Sambhaji, who too was an able ruler. However, the subsequent rulers were not capable enough, and eventually the Peshwas took all powers in their hands. The Peshwas. From 1713 to 1761, under the Peshwas, the Maratha Empire flourished. In 1713, Shivaji's grandson Shahu appointed Balaji Vishwanath as his Peshwa chief minister. He was an able administrator and helped Shahu control the Maratha chiefs. Eventually, the Peshwa became the real decision-maker. Balaji Vishwanath, 1713 to 1720. Balaji Vishwanath was appointed the Peshwa by the Maratha ruler. Soon he concentrated all power in his own hands. He forced Farukh Siyar to return all the territories which had been under Shivaji earlier. Not only this, now the Marathas also got the right to collect Chauth and Sardeshmukhi from 6 other provinces in the Deccan. Baji Rao first, 1720 till 1740. Balaji Vishwanath was succeeded by Baji Rao, who conquered Malwa, invaded Gujarat, and reached Ahmedabad and concluded a treaty with Maharaja Abhay Singh of Marwar. Towards the south, he defeated the Nizam of Hyderabad and got the right to collect taxes from some provinces of the Deccan. He also captured Salsette and Besan from the Portuguese. He is known as the Fighting Peshwa, as he spent a greater part of his reign fighting wars, and it is believed that he never lost one. Under his rule, Maratha power reached its zenith. The empire reached as far as Bihar and Odisha in the east and Punjab in the north. Balaji Baji Rao, 1740 till 1761. After the death of Baji Rao Peshwa I, Chhatrapati Shahu appointed the deceased eldest son Balaji Baji Rao as Peshwa in 1740. He shifted the capital from Satara to Poona, now Pune. During his reign, Punjab and Rajputana in the north and Bengal and Odisha in the east came under the Maratha rule. Even the kingdoms of Mysore and Hyderabad were forced to hand over territories. Under Balaji Baji Rao, Maratha power was at its peak. Third Battle of Panipat, 1761. The Marathas were defeated in the Third Battle of Panipat against Ahmed Shah Abdali in 1761. After this, the Maratha Empire was broken into small independent kingdoms. This helped the British to strengthen their hold in India. Reasons behind the downfall of the Marathas. They had a large area under their control, but failed to effectively control it. They failed to unite under one leader. Their policy of plundering, imposing Chauth and Sardeshmukhi on neighboring areas resulted in loss of support from Rajputs, Jats, Sikhs and other people. They failed to modernize their warfare techniques. Recap. The Mughal Empire declined during the reign of later Mughals as they were incapable rulers. The regional kingdoms of Awadh, Bengal, Hyderabad, Rajputana, Punjab and Mysore came to power. The Marathas came to power in the Konkan region under the leadership of Shivaji. The Maratha Empire flourished under the Peshwas. After the Third Battle of Panipat, the Marathas weakened and the hold of the British strengthened.